Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we bring you the story of an Eastern Kentucky first responder who put his life on the line to save others during last year's historic flooding. And one Floyd County family gets closer to returning to their home as they continue working to fix the damage floodwaters left behind.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. The time is just about a quarter before 6:31. I'm Keaton Hall. Let's check in with Brandon for a look at the weather.
Well, Keaton, the forecast fantastic this morning. Got a fantastic day shaping up. A touch on the cool side, so maybe a light jacket, but overall, you can leave those at home for later today. Let's take a look at Buffalo Mountain. Beautiful shot of the sunrise here this morning, looking through the trees there. 43 up there, down here in town as well. 53 just up the road at Jackson at the Weather Service office. 51 at Pikeville. 46 London and Williamsburg. 41 Irvin and Jonesville. 54 the warmest spot in the region at Wise. 40 in Ashland, the coldest. Temperatures climb into the 70s by early this afternoon and low 80s as we head deeper into this Wednesday. Keaton?
Thanks, Brandon. We begin our 6:30 half hour with one of our profiles of East Kentucky Leadership Award winners. This year, each winner was picked for their extraordinary efforts after last year's flood. No one was more hands-on in the flood response efforts than the first responders, whose hands rescued their neighbors from the depths. WMT's Buddy Forbes has more on one Whitesburg firefighter whose heroic efforts in the face of terror contributed to the eventual promotion to a new title.
They always ask, why is any certain reason why we do this, and I can't really answer that. It's just something that is in your heart, and I just want to help people, and that's what I just really enjoy doing.
Charles Red Caldwell has been fighting fires for 19 years. A passion for service first ignited by his firefighting stepfather.
This will be my spot right here for years. That's where I got my start as he come up. And as I got older, I just kept wanting to get it more and more involved in it. And then when I turned 18, I came here to Whitesburg and asked if they was taking members, and they did. They accepted me on pretty bad.
But in nearly 2 decades, he has never had to deal with what his town faced when floodwaters poured through last year.
Our tones dropped for a water rescue. And it just got bad, and water kept coming and coming and coming, and went to one rescue, and then I rescued that elderly lady. Then it just one right after another. Just water kept coming up, and people were actually waking up to those alerts and noticing that the water was in the house, and it was already too late. The truck had got water all the way around it, and it was sort of basically dry docked, what I would say.
Forcing first responders to take the lead. Wading through Whitesburg, thinking only about those in need.
You're up chest deep in water, you go to another house, you may be knee deep in water. It's always different, in that, and we just concentrate on that particular part at that time. And being one that can't swim, that's another thing in my mind, that I can't swim, but
saving lives while putting their own on the line.
A group effort, to get those people out as fast as we could, and I couldn't have never done it without some of the local residents in the area.
An event the department never saw coming, but will forever look back on.
We touched 14 lives that were affected by us of getting them to safety, and we could have very well lost all 14.
With Caldwell now taking the lead over the department, after being named fire chief in February.
But I don't think there's anyone out there that's more deserving to take this position. Amen. You raise your right hand, sir.
He believes through all of the destruction the waters left behind, they also left a desire to move forward.
A turning point to what we could do to make things better, what we done wrong, or what we done that we didn't really think we could do.
And though he is not in it for the accolades.
I don't want no recognition for anything I do. I do it for my town and for my people,
The 2023 East Kentucky Leadership Award for Individual goes to Charles Red Caldwell.
Later today, we will recognize a Knott County man for his efforts in stepping up to help those who dealt with the flood. The 35th East Kentucky Leadership Conference will take place next Thursday and Friday in Hazard. The theme is After the Flood, Lessons Learned and Long-Term Recovery. Health leaders continue to study the long-term effects of the flooding. New research is helping state and local officials find areas of improvement when it comes to recovery efforts. Researchers collected data from flood survivors and victims to learn more about evacuations and recovery challenges.
One of the students who was involved in the response, her family was hit by Hurricane Ian in Fort Myers just a few weeks later, and she was able to take what she had learned, not just as a public health student, but as a person, as a daughter, as a family member, back to Fort Myers and help her own family with their recovery.
Some key recommendations from the report include considering offering additional mental health services and expanding resources for behavioral health care, as well as efforts to increase broadband access. One Floyd County family is getting closer to returning to their home after the flood. WYMT's Jordan Mullen spoke with the family about their journey.
In July 2022, flooding rocked the Wayland community of Floyd County, and waters rushed into the home of Pam Caudill and her son's home just across the street.
We didn't know what was coming next or what to do. We knew we had a lot of work ahead of us. We knew, we was in for the long haul.
Nearly 9 months later, after staying at Jenny Wiley State Park's May Lodge, cabins, and now an RV, Pam Caudill is close to being back in her home.
We are pretty close. We got a little bit of baseboard, a little bit of touch up on drywall to finish up, and we'll be ready to move her in.
Pam's son, Michael Caudill, has been hard at work trying to repair his mother's home as well as his own home, but says that local nonprofits have been a blessing.
It's taken a lot of relief off of us, knowing that she's getting ready to go back in and having the help from Kat for my house. I've not had to do a lot of work. The groups came in here from Ohio, Michigan, everywhere.
And Pam's grandchildren may be even more excited to be home.
They're really excited to get home so Nene can cook for them, let them watch TV and play in the floor with them. I'm really excited for that.
Well on the road to recovery for a family who has been through so much. In Floyd County, Jordan Mullins, WYMT Mountain News.
Pam Caudill says she will be moved back into her home in just a few short weeks, and Michael Caudill says his home could possibly be ready by early to mid-August. One Breathitt County road is set to be closed later this week. Kentucky 378 at Devon Lane, also mile point 5.2, set to be closed on Thursday. It's being closed so crews can set beams on a bridge. It'll be closed from 8 a.m. until about noon. Drivers can use Kentucky 30 to access Kentucky 378 as an alternate route to bypass that work location. An Appalachian clothing company is debuting a new line of sustainable jeans. New Frontier says its circular jeans are all made of recycled denim. Those with the company say it's an important mission because the fashion industry causes 10% of worldwide carbon dioxide emissions. They say each pair of these jeans uses 94% less water, produces 75% less carbon dioxide, and requires 47% less land.
History is being made here in Kentucky by introducing this concept and this product, in particular, the recycled jeans. So what we introduced at New Frontier is circular fashion. This concept is very common in Europe, in places like the Netherlands, where, sustainability and circularity in the fashion industry is a norm.
There are two styles of jeans for both men and women. You can buy them online for $89 a pair.
.39 here on this Wednesday morning. A beautiful scene over at Lake Cumberland in Pulaski County. Sun already on the way up over there. It's going to be another beautiful day here across the mountains. We take you to temperatures still a bit on the warmer side compared to this time yesterday. No frost this morning. Maybe in some of those sheltered valleys it's in the upper 30s, but most of us from the 40s and 50s. 55 now in Wise. Their temperatures are already climbing, about 40 on Ashland's the coldest spot. A lot of low to mid to upper 40s and low 50s out there to start the day. Speaking of starting the day, out the door forecast, gorgeous. Maybe grab a light jacket this morning. Like Chas and I were talking about yesterday, make sure the kids bring their light jackets back home. They'll probably need them again tomorrow morning, but they won't need them later today as temperatures top out in the low 80s with lots of sunshine this afternoon. Keaton?
Thanks, Brandon, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:40. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. The Biden administration wants to help keep COVID-19 vaccines free for people who don't have access to insurance so the U.S. can continue seeing lower case numbers.